Alright guys, it's Zach Williams coming to you with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about what the requirements are in the state of Tennessee to get your real estate license, also known as your affiliate broker's license. I've had this question asked a lot to me, and I kind of want to put it out there because when I was first trying to get my license, I knew that it was very daunting and confusing enough because I'm a person that likes to go to YouTube and look up my questions to the world. And it wasn't on there for Tennessee, so everybody else's state is a little bit different. This is going to be specifically for Tennessee. I hope it helps people. Guys, all these requirements are going to be found at Tennessee.gov. They are all administered by TREC, Tennessee Real Estate Commission. That is where the requirements come from to get your license. Now, guys, the first one is you're going to need to be 18 years or older. This should be simple. Everybody's maturity needs to be high enough to buy, sell, help people buy and sell their homes. Next, you're going to need a high school degree or a GED. Both are equivalent, no big differences. Getting into the next thing, you're going to need to take the classes, okay? You can take the classes online, you can take them in person. I think there's pros and cons to both. In person, you can ask questions a lot simpler. Online, you're going to be Googling those questions. If you don't understand, you have to Google. You have to figure them out some way because some of these concepts are easier than others. Some come pretty quick. So that's kind of the pros and cons there. As well as, in person, there's a little bit more time constraints because you have to go and meet with other people and line up with their schedules and when they're putting on the class. Versus the online, you can kind of do it at your own pace. I would recommend getting through either of them quickly, though, especially if you're doing the online course because you don't want to take too long. You want this to stay fresh in your mind. Also, besides taking the classes, I would recommend actually looking up Prep Agent on YouTube. He does a great job at vocabulary, and that's where I put a lot of my focus was vocabulary. Vocabulary, and concepts, okay? Drive those home, and I promise you'll pass. Now, once you're done taking the classes, the 60-hour, you must pass a class for that. You must pass a test for that online or in person, as well as the 30-hour test. Okay, you must pass that as well. Now, keep this in mind. Once you're done with the 30-hour class, you can move forward with getting your license. If you choose to not take the 30-hour class before taking your Psi exam, which I'll cover later, you can take the test by just taking the 60-hour course, okay? Now, the 30-hour course is going to be more of the same concepts that you have encountered in the 60-hour course, just more in depth, okay? And just so you guys know, maybe they call them something different. The 60-hour course is the pre-licensing course, and the 30-hour is the new affiliate course. So, like I said, you can take the 60-hour, then take your PSI, or take the 60-hour and the 30-hour, and then you take your PSI. The strategy is up to you. I took both at the same, or back-to-back, and then took the PSI. My thought process was I was going to drive these concepts and vocab home, and if I could understand it more in depth, then I truly understood what I was covering. All right, getting into what is next known as the PSI exam. PSI is a company, from my understanding, all they do is administer the test. They give a test over a national and a state portion. The national and state portion should be covered in the 60-hour course, primarily. Now, you must pass the national and you must pass the state. Let's say you fail the national but pass the state the first time. You have 2 other tries to pass the national. You don't have to retake the state test as long as you pass the national in the next 2 tries. I don't believe there's a time limit. I think it's at least 24 hours before you can go back and take the test. It was kind of fuzzy because I passed it the first time. I'll have to get back to you. If you have a question about that, leave it down below. But keep in mind, let's just go ahead and study really, really hard so we don't have to take it a second time. There's no stress there. Now, when you're taking this PSI exam, they take it very seriously. You're going to have to schedule a time and your location. That should all be pretty easy. You'll work with your class instructor, or if you're taking it online, generally if you just call whoever you bought the class through, they will help you out. Getting into the next thing. We've passed the test. We passed the PSI. We're done with the test. Thank God. I could not take those tests over again. It was so mentally draining. Oh my gosh. So we're going to need to get our background check and our fingerprints done. This is required. Okay, you keep in mind, this is required. You have to do this. So if you have any criminal history, you might want to get that sorted out. There may be some criminal history things that may not affect you as heavily as some others. I think specifically they're looking for theft and money, criminal histories where, you're going to be dealing with people's money and their homes, so they obviously don't want you having anything like that. But there is an appeal process if you get hung up, so don't get too discouraged or get whatever you have going on taken care of. Now, once we have gotten the background check and the fingerprints taken care of, we need to figure out what firm we are going to affiliate with. Okay, you are getting an affiliate broker's license, not a broker's license. You need to go find a firm and you need to affiliate with them. All affiliate means is you're just going to sign with that firm. Okay, now what I recommend doing is prior to passing the test and while studying for it, you go out to some firms and you kind of fill it out. Find the firm that works best for you. It's very important, okay? There's some are going to charge you fees. Some are going to be really large firms. Some are going to be smaller firms. Just think of it this way. If you're in a huge firm that's 200 people or something like that, the principal broker or the help that you might receive there might be spread a little bit thin versus a smaller broker that might be more intimate help. You may have someone to continuously go to if you need to get help. Being a new agent, you're going to need that. It's okay. Everybody's going to start there, so don't be too thrown off of that. But just think about what kind of firm that you want. So now that we figured out what firm we're going to, affiliate with, we need to do a couple more things. We need to get errors and omissions insurance. Okay, errors and omissions insurance is going to be also known as E&O insurance. This is going to cover us as agents if we make mistakes. Now, also, when you get those background checks and those fingerprints, make sure you save that receipt. You are going to need this. You're going to need to get that and send that over to TREC. You're going to need to send over errors and omissions insurance. You're going to need to send over your Tennessee state and your national portion exam results. And once again, you're going to need your transcripts or your GED, and you're going to send that over as well. This is known as applying for your license. You've made it at this point. It's going to take generally about 10 to 15 days in my experience for them to get back to you, unless you have to go through the appeal process. Haven't had to do that, thankfully, so I don't know about that. All right, guys, kind of getting into the second portion of the video. It's going to be mentality. Okay, this is something that you don't have to get your real estate license, but I think that you have to have this to go anywhere in real estate, and it will very, very much so help you out in getting your license. First of all, I need you to ask yourself, do you really want to be a real estate agent? Once you get in, it's not easy. Okay, some people may tell you it's easy, but it's not. Okay, you have to put the work in. You're going to be more than likely an independent contractor. Okay, so if you're an independent contractor, you generally are kind of running your own business. You need to put in the work, and no one's going to hold your hand in this business, okay? Yes, there are going to be people there to answer your questions, but they're not going to do your paperwork for you. Not for free. They will charge you, and some firms actually have a person that you can pay to do your paperwork. If you have the money, man, do it. Unless you just really want to learn it. I think you might want to learn that to be a more broad person. Maybe you don't do it forever, but you need to understand the ins and outs of this business. Like I said, guys, you have to have the mentality. You have to know why you want to do it, and you have to know how you're going to do it. Put together a plan. Figure it out and eat the elephant piece by piece, because at the end of the day, once you continue doing that every single day, piece by piece by piece, eventually you'll be at the end. And once you're at the end, you will feel so glad that you did it. I promise you, it will be the most satisfying thing you've ever done. Okay? So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, put them down below. I'm going to put my Instagram, my Facebook, and all that stuff down below as well in the description. So make sure you check those out. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If I can, I'll get around to messaging you back. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope this helped out, because when I was a new agent and getting my license, I was just oh man, I couldn't even think straight because I like to see the information. I like to figure out what is closest to me, and I didn't know if, let's just say, North Carolina had the same rules and regulations as Tennessee. Through going through the process, I'm giving this to you. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'll help you out. Other than that, guys, take it easy.